Good morning. It is that time again, late shift at work today. So of course I'm going to try and go out for a run and do another weird layering video. What did I just rub on my arm? Well, you would have just seen, it was just the lid essentially from one of my yogurts. It's like a berries yogurt essentially. Meant to be good for you, meant to have all these probiotics or whatever. They're good for your gut health. But are they good for layering fragrances? Probably not. But essentially what I was thinking today with this one was it's kind of got that, it's quite thick yogurt, so it's almost like a cream. And obviously creams are things that we rub on our skin, and this has got that milky smell, obviously a little bit milky, a little bit fruity as well. And I just wondered if that would mix quite nicely with a fragrance. Now, initial impressions, obviously I've already put the layering on. It's very dry on my arm. It's not very comfortable. It certainly doesn't rub in and absorb like a cream. It's very crusty, essentially. And I've got bits of cherry and fruit in there, but it does smell very nice. It smells like a bit of a yogurt, but of course yogurt, milky sort of smells, fruity smells, they're quite common in fragrances, and it's not horrible. It's certainly not unpleasant in terms of smell. It's just a little bit uncomfortable aesthetically just to rub on your arm. But what are we applying with it today? We're applying this fragrance here. It's another one of my little Marks and Spencer's 2ml samples, Cool Vetiver. Cool Vetiver has been compared to sort of the Creed Aventus type fragrances. To me, it's just a little bit aquatic. It's not really anything. It doesn't really smell, if I can open it. It just smells like a body spray to me, a cheap body spray that you'd spray on after a PE lesson if you're a kid at school. Easy to pull off, gym scent, dumb reach, nothing special. So I'm hoping with this one, it's got a slight green vibe, but it's mainly that just aquatic type smell. I'm hoping this is going to make this one a little bit more fruity, a little bit more sort of, but this is sweet, but it's definitely more fresh than anything. I'm just hoping that's going to bring a little bit of that lactonic sweetness, a little bit almost creaminess to this fragrance, because it is quite a harsh synthetic. So what I'm going to quickly do now, I'm going to quickly apply this fragrance, rub it into my skin, and yeah, then we'll see after about 10 minutes once I've done some stretching how it feels. Good thing, first of all, with having yogurt on your arm is it's not something that I was worried about burning me. Some of the other things I've done layering with, I've been worried about chemical burns as well. So that is on my arm. I don't know if you can see that, but it's what I'm hoping it's going to do. Yeah, it's just taking that crustiness again off my arm. I almost feel like it would have been better to apply the yogurt first here. Second here rather than first, just because it gets so dry. And I think the fragrance would have potentially just kept it, because it's obviously like an oil, it would have just kept it smoother, but it's almost gone into like a paste on my arm. You won't really be able to see it, but it almost feels like a paste. Okay, so that's that one done. And then the side of my watch is just going to be the one without any layering, like so. So there we go. I don't know if you can see that. There's a bit of a drip there. I'll just rub that one in. Like so. Problem is today it's really cold, so I'm having to wear long sleeves as usual, which makes it hard to lift my sleeve up. Okay, so I'm just going to let that sit for a little bit, see if I can detect any differences. So I'm going to do some stretching in the meantime, and then after about 5-10 minutes, we'll see if anything's changed, more so smell than anything else. And yeah, what we'll do today, if you haven't seen these before, it's a bit of like a checkpoint on my runs. I'm going to do 3 checkpoints, update you if anything changes during the run in terms of performance, in terms of smell. Then when I get back, I'll talk about what it smells like inside, because obviously your nose bungs up running, be a little bit different outside. And then also have a shower and just see if it still survived after that. If I'm being honest, I don't think it's going to survive after that today, but you never know, you never know. So yeah, let's do that, let's get some stretching done, and I'll give my initial impressions before we go. All wrapped up. So yes, a little bit of time has gone by now, about 7-8 minutes. It's time to smell my arms and just see if we can detect any differences. So this is the side with the yogurt, and this is the side without. Right, well there is a noticeable difference, and I'll be honest with you, it's more the smell than anything. The performance on this is very good at the moment. I want a bit stronger than this, but I might have put a little bit more fragrance oil on it because I've managed to pull my sleeve up a bit more. You definitely get the yogurt. The yogurt has come out a lot more than I expected. However, it doesn't smell very nice. It smells like off milk. It almost smells a little bit like vomit. I've said this before sometimes. When you're actually using proper food products, particularly things like yogurt, those sort of things, milk, they do give off this very sickly vibe, and it's not very pleasant because it is a real product. It's not something that's replicating. It's not an Accord, a milk Accord. At the moment, I don't really like that, so it just smells a little bit like sick, which isn't very pleasant. And then that one's a lot more sort of peppery, a little bit, yeah, it's definitely a bit more peppery than that. It's definitely got a masculine vibe. There must be some woods in this, vetiver being in it. Maybe it is a little bit more of a dry vetiver than I'm giving it credit for, but it is mainly a clean type fragrance, and that's a lot nicer. It just smells like a fragrance. That one just smells like a fragrance with someone who's thrown up a little bit on it. Not very pleasant, a little bit like baby food. Yeah, not sure I'm really going to enjoy that today. Let's hope I warm up and it sweats out a little bit, and maybe that yogurt, that nice fruitiness that is in that, comes through a bit. But yeah, time to head outside and we'll do the first checkpoint every half an hour. Okay then, it's time to do checkpoint 1, so okay, well, I'm really surprised at how strong this yoghurt is smelling, because a lot of the things I've tried so far that have dried out on my skin and become very gritty and rough on my arm haven't smelt that nice. They've, well, I say haven't smelled nice, they haven't really smelled at all, because they've almost dried up to the point it's not really bringing anything out. And the only thing that really didn't was the yeast extract or the Marmite, because that's just so salty. But of course this is a very sugary, milky type thing, and it's not really what you call, you know, yogurts. You don't go, oh, they're a pungent smell, but I'm really getting this one. The problem is it's not very nice, and it's just, unfortunately, it's become a little bit vomity. But what I would say is I think that's maybe, well, look, of course it's not something you rub on your arm, but maybe the scent I've actually picked today, the fragrance I've actually picked, maybe just isn't the best one for this. I think if I'd gone for something a little bit more darker, maybe a bit smokier, even like an aromatic, something that's a little bit heavier in its smell, this might have worked a little bit better, because it may have just taken that smoky, leathery edge off those scents and made it a bit more wearable. I think the issue I've got today is the fragrance I've put on is a very nice, I'm just smelling it without the layering, it's a very nice wearable scent anyway, and I don't think it really needs any layering unless it's for performance. And when we're talking performance, yes, the performance is a little bit stronger. I'd probably say it's about 80% on my layering arm, 70% on the other side. So it certainly hasn't reduced the performance of the fragrance, but it's changed the smell more. And I think that's made this one, yeah, a little bit more unpleasant in its scent. But really interesting. The one positive I can say though, it definitely has mixed in terms of smell. The smell is definitely there, and I wasn't particularly expecting that today, so that's the one positive. It's just a shame it's not very pleasant. So at the next checkpoint we'll have a look, we'll see how it gets on. I'd say the benefit of the fragrance is it's certainly got rid of that dryness though. It's reduced a bit of that dryness, so it's still drying down, but where it did sort of loosen it up a little bit, it's certainly, you know, made it blend a little bit better. They certainly have mixed better than I expected. So yeah, initial impressions, quite good. Just unfortunately it doesn't smell very good. And it smells, like I said, like a baby's vomited on you. Not really what you want to smell at 7 o'clock on your run, is it? Okay then, checkpoint 2, time to smell my arm. Sorry, you're going to see me really up close now. I tell you what, I'm getting a Lush body spray that I'm getting in the post. My brother's got it, so I'll keep it a secret for what it is at the moment, because I'm going to do a review on it. But the layering, I really can't believe how strong this yoghurt smell is. To be honest, if anything, it feels like it's getting stronger and more sort of, look, it's still unpleasant. It's still got that bit of vomity smell to it for me because it's so lactonic, but it's starting to get a bit of that berry smell come through from it. Or again, maybe I'm looking for it, but again, it's not pleasant. What I would say that for you as the wearer, you're not going to like this. And when I say about it improving longevity, it feels like it's doing that, but the projection here isn't getting any stronger. So I don't think anyone around you is going to notice it and go, oh, you smell a bit weird, you smell like an off milky yogurt or anything like that. It's just not pleasant for you more than anything. But compared to the one without the layering, that's probably already about 40%, as strong as it was when I applied it. And I'm saying the other one's still 70-80%. But there's no two ways about it. The yoghurt is overtaking the fragrance. I'm really surprised about that. Because again, as I was mentioning earlier, when I've applied things that dry out very quickly, they normally don't do that well. They normally don't mix. They normally are weaker than the fragrance, and they just don't work. I've always said you need something more oily to rub onto your skin to improve what's all like waxy. And this isn't either of that. But it's done the job. It is doing the job, and I cannot believe I'm saying that. It is strong. But again, it's overtaken the fragrance. I don't know though later on. I think the real interesting one today is going to be with the shower test, because again, when things are drier and they're not as oily, they're much easier obviously to rub off. So I think probably when it gets to doing that later, probably won't see it and won't smell it. But for the duration of this workout, I'm actually, and obviously I've got one more checkpoint to do. It's going to survive it. It's going to survive this whole workout, which is impressive enough in itself, and certainly to have blended with the fragrance. That's really surprised me, because it's not a super strong yogurt or anything like that. So yeah, we'll do one more checkpoint on this run, and we'll then do an indoor test. So when I get back, I'll obviously smell my arm without my nose being so blocked, and see if anything's changed. And final checkpoint, so let's smell my arms. Layering without. Right, I cannot believe how strong this yogurt is. I know I've said it a lot, but it's just getting stronger. It's getting more milky and milky. That fruit that I thought I could detect earlier has completely disappeared. And it's just so strong. It really is like this real cream. And I think that if it was just milk and it wasn't actually in a yogurt, I don't think this would have been as strong, because it's a much more watery, consistency, isn't it, in milk? But this yogurt has really, really brought out that milky vibe, and I feel like this is one that I actually want to do again at some point, but with just a different scent on, because I think with a different fragrance, this might really work. But it isn't present with this fragrance. It just hasn't. It's mixed well, but it's mixed. It's the sort of thing you go, we can't put that on the shelves as a perfumer. But if anything, I think it's got stronger. As I said, I think we're talking 90% as strong as when I left. Wait for that bike to go by. This is another thing, actually, completely off topic for a second. I see more bikes with L plates on than bikes without them on. They're just constantly got L plates. How do you learn as a bike? Do you just get to be a learner for your whole life? Anyway, rant over. The one with just the fragrance on its own is about 30%. It's just going, it is fading. I've warmed up a little bit with the sun on me, and I think when I go indoors I'll notice it a bit more again, and maybe it'll be the one that I notice more of the shower, because at the moment it is being absolutely trounced by the milkiness from the other fragrance, from the layering. Very bizarre, really, really surprisingly this one. But yeah, we're nearly done. I've got a couple more miles to run, and then we'll get back and have a cup of coffee. I cannot wait. Got a bad foot today, my foot's hurting a little bit, so I'll take it a bit easy, and yeah, we'll see if anything changes with the fragrances when I do my indoor impressions. Oh, coffee. It's amazing. Coffee bags are the way forward. So it's time to smell my arms then. See what I can smell now I'm inside. So glad to be back. I've re-hurt my foot where I've tried these new shoes, and I've not got used to them yet. Okay, so that was with the layering. Interesting. Very interesting. And without. I can barely smell the fragrance without. With it on, I can still smell it. And what's really weird is now the fragrance I can smell a lot more than that lactonic smell from the yoghurt. and it's becoming a bit more peppery again. It's really interesting, and it's definitely, feels fine on my skin now. It's not dry and feel like it's tugging at the hairs or anything. Again, I wonder if that's just where I've stopped. I've warmed up a little bit, and now that fragrance oil is kind of being released from my skin a bit more, rather than that sort of dryness that was sitting on the top. Maybe that is why it was lasting a bit better, why I could smell it more. It's just that dryness from it. It was almost just sitting on top of the fragrance like a blanket, and now it's easing off. Very, very interesting though. It's really just not been what I expected. I'm so surprised at how strong that yogurt smell has been. It's definitely one I want to try again at some point. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do some weights now. And then after that, we'll head upstairs, have a shower before work, and yeah, I'll give my final impressions, see how much it survives the shower. Okay then, so I've had my shower. It's time to do a final smell test, see if we can detect anything at all from the layering. Normally at this stage, if you've seen these before, don't tend to get a lot of luck. So let's see what we get. Right, so on either side, the fragrance has gone. The Cool Vetiver, the Marks and Spencer's fragrance that I used today, it's not there at all. However, there is the very, very faintest, smell of yogurt just there in the background, this milky sort of smell. But it's, I say this sometimes actually quite a lot. If someone said to smell your arm, would I know it was there, not knowing I'd put yogurt on my arm? Absolutely not. However, today I think it's been a success. As I said, the worst thing about it has been the actual smell. However, on the flip side, I'm very glad it mixed together a lot better than a lot of these things. I didn't have any worries today about it being, too chemically on my arm or it's staining anything in particular. It's not that sort of thing. And it did project a little bit more than the other side, whether that's because I put more fragrance on. But even so, it was really the yogurt that was the dominant smell. It was only when I came back inside today that I really noticed the fragrance coming back through. And I think it would have got me through the day. I think it really would have done. It got me through my workout absolutely fine. And I think it would have got me through the day as well. Do I recommend it still? Absolutely not. But in a weird way, as I said, it did actually work today. So hope you enjoyed this one. Obviously, I'll be doing plenty more layering videos. Obviously, I've worked today. I believe, yeah, I'm working next Saturday, so I'll do another layering video. But then I've actually got a week off, so maybe we'll do a few more and maybe mix some fragrances up a little bit more. But plenty of content to come. I've actually got 7 new fragrances coming as well, so there'll be plenty of individual fitness fragrance reviews. One is hopefully coming today. So yes, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you later.